Good morning, everyone. The quarterly meeting of the Texas State University Board of Regents is now reconvened in open session. The time is 10:07. Dr. Hoyt, you did yourself last evening. We all really enjoyed going to the circus.
I just want to say thanks to all of my staff that worked really hard on putting all that together. It's amazing when you have a thought or a vision and they make it a reality, because I didn't make it the reality. So I really want to thank them for all that hard work. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Regent Amato was disappointed. He thought that they'd hang that down again so he could exercise it. Anyway, well, thank you very much, and thanks everyone for being here. Our first order of business this morning is Student Advisory Board report, and I'd like to thank all the SAB members for being here today. We always enjoy breakfast with you and hearing about what each of your plans are for the future and what you're studying and brings back memories for some of us. I made the comment walking in to Don Flores that I think some of you ask a lot better questions than I would have at that age, and you're all very impressive. I'd now like to invite each of the presidents to introduce your SAB members. President Hoyt, would you begin for us, please?
Yes, thank you. First is Amanda Lee. She's our SGA president. She's a junior majoring in communication studies with a minor in Spanish and community leadership. She was born and raised in Jacksonville, Texas, and she's involved in numerous other organizations across campus and is also in Orange Key, so you see her at a lot of events as well. So Amanda, and then Jaden Wilkerson is our SGA vice president. She's a senior raised in Fort Worth, Texas. And she is majoring in business administration with a minor in marketing and fashion merchandising. She's also involved in several other student organizations and is a national member of the Student Event Planning Association.
Bill, why don't you go next?
Good morning. It's my pleasure to introduce our two representatives. First is Valerie Baca. She is our SGA president. She's a mathematics with teacher certification in math major. She's a senior from El Paso, Texas. Her ambition upon graduation from Sul Ross is to continue her graduate education in higher education administration. So fast forward a few years and she may be sitting at this table. And Janelle Galvan. Janelle is our vice president, majoring in psychology. She's a senior as well. Hometown is Vinton, Texas, and her ambition after graduation is to pursue graduate work in psychology. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm pleased to introduce two of our student government officers. The first is our president, Naima Behet. Naima is from Groves, Texas. She enrolled at LIT during the summer of 2018. Her major is respiratory therapy, and her expected graduation is spring 2020. Next is Anna Torres. Anna is from Winnie, Texas. She enrolled at LIT during the fall of 2018. She is a criminal justice major. Her expected graduation is fall of 2021. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Scott. We have two students here today. Edward Doan, student government president. He's a senior, chemical engineering and business major, and his hometown is Bridge City, Texas. He was quizzing you this morning at breakfast. With him is Jack Dolce. He's SGA vice president, junior, business management, pre-optometry from Port Neches, Texas. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair Scott and Board of Regents. The first one I'd like to introduce is Lawrence Seppi. Lawrence is a sophomore business major from Orange by way of Annapolis, Maryland. He attended Seppi Academy, and he is our SGA Vice President, and he follows his sister, who my first year came as our student representative. So they're a fine family, and I'm glad he could be here with us. The next one is Taylor May. She's not with us because her grandfather passed away last night, so she had to leave. So I ask that Taylor be in your thoughts and prayers. She's a wonderful SGA president. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. I'm pleased to introduce two students from Lamar State College, Port Arthur this morning. Our SGA president is Brianna Montillo. She is from Port Arthur, Texas, and is a business administration psychology major. She has some specific interests in sports and music. She also works as a part-time nanny, and she should be on the track to graduate within the next year. Also with us this morning is our Vice President, Danny Martinez. Danny is from Beaumont, Texas. He is a commercial music major, and he has an interest in cinematography for local high school bands. He is also a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We have three students who are with us today from Texas State. Corey Bembo is the student government president. He's a graduate student in the Master of Public Administration program, and his hometown is Austin. As an undergraduate, Corey held the positions of vice president for outreach of Student Organizations Council and vice president for internal affairs for the Student Alumni Council. We also have Tucker Thompson, who is the student government vice president. He's also a graduate student in a master's program in international studies, and he's from Tomball, Texas. Tucker has been a member of student government at Texas State for 3 years prior to being elected vice president. And our third student here, Eliza Sotelo, is the Chief of Staff for Student Government. And among her other accomplishments as an undergraduate majoring in public relations, she's been a CAT camp counselor. She's from Pure Land, Texas.
Thank you all. And now we'll ask Corey Bembo from Texas State University to deliver the board report.
Good morning, Chairman Scott, Honorable Regents, and Chancellor McCall. My name is Corey Benbow, and I am the Student Body President at Texas State University and Chair of the Student Advisory Board. I address you today on behalf of the Student Advisory Board. In the Texas State University system, component institutions have found varying student service fees that affect student life and student-based resources. Collectively, student service fees are allocated to departments on campus for such resources as counseling, student activities, student government associations, Dean of Students program, legal services, career services, band programs, students' news outlets, and ROTC. This demonstrates the importance of this fee because of the presence it has in student life and determines the accessibility and engagement of student population. Some of the component institution student service fees for 2019-2020 school year are as follows. Lamar University has a student service fee of $23.75 per semester credit hour with a cap of $250. Lamar State College, Port Arthur has a student service fee of $28 per semester credit hour with a cap of $250. However, I am told since Lamar State College, Port Arthur is a 2-year university that information is incorrect, and since we are college students, I just want to point that out. Factual information is best. So I think it is actually $5, and I'm not sure what the cap is. Lamar Institution of Technology has a student service fee of $5 per semester credit hour with a cap of $75. Sam Houston State University has a student service fee of $16 per semester credit hour with a cap of $240, and Texas State University has a student service fee of $10 per semester credit hour with a cap of $90 per semester. While we have a great appreciation for keeping tuition and fees low, often tuition and fee increase caps allow prioritization of academics, insurance, and other obligations. Higher student service fees allows for the promotion of more programs that involve student engagement and resources for students that overall improve student life, while a lower student service fee creates a void for more extensive programs and resources to meet the needs of current and future students. With that being said, all programs and services listed above enhance student life and engagement, contributing to higher retention, mental and physical health, and improving the university as a whole. The Student Advisory Board would like to request the Board of Regents for Texas State University's system to review each component institution's student service fee caps and consider adjusting student service fees to reflect equal prioritization of academics and student life by accommodating the growing needs of the student population outside the classroom. Education accessibility. As a place of higher learning, education accessibility is of primary importance. Maintaining academic freedom while incentivizing education professionals to increase open educational resource can allow students to have alternative methods of development, as well as more affordable classes. Openness and technical and educational development can lead to fast accumulation of benefits, better functionality through improved integration, and broader and quicker diffusion of benefits. There is vast potential for a positive impact on learners, educators, and educational institutions following the adoption of open educational resource initiatives. Affordability. Over 70% of students graduate with debt, and the total student debt is up to $1.2 trillion. Steps to affordability need to be taken to lessen the load that students have to face financially while also trying to maintain their education. Some component institutions have begun looking at open educational resources such as online textbooks in partnerships with Barnes & Noble's bookstores through the First Day program, which provides deep discounts on digital textbooks and class material. With the First Day program, students skip textbooks lines and instead get their material in digital formats that can be accessed on any digital device. Students in the First Day program receive them at the lowest price available from the publisher. For many of the digital textbooks and materials, students may obtain a print copy for an extra fee at a bookstore if they choose. Stagnate evolution of teaching methods. Learning methods are continually evolving and changing. For example, personalized project-based, place-based, formative assessment, etc. But there has been a stagnation in how the curriculum is being presented. A stagnation does not cater to the various learning methods that are prevalent throughout college campuses for the student population. The Student Advisory Board requests that the Board of Regents advocate and prioritize system policies that incentivize component institutions, educators to provide more open educational resources to lessen the financial burden on students. This also encourages diverse methods of learning that can be utilized more universally by each of the students at component institutions. Moreover, we ask the Board of Regents to commit to a system-wide education accessibility plan with an identifiable target goal that is specific to each component institution in the Texas State University system. Public policy. On September 1st, 2017, Texas Senate Bill 1367 established an advisory committee to examine and review the administration of EpiPens in schools, including institutions of higher learning defined by Section 61.003 of the Education Code. Per Texas House Bill 4260, the schools carrying out the physical administration of the EpiPens are given immunity to liabilities that can arise from the delivery of these drugs. However, it is only covers K through 12 schools and, quote, private or independent institutions of higher education, end quote. Under Section 61.003 Education Code, public universities are excluded, including all component institutions in our system, from being able to provide EpiPens in our dining areas. We ask you to advocate on our behalf for the legal immunity to extend to public institutions as a preventative measure for current students, prospective students, and visitors to our respective component institutions as a way to make dining and by proxy education accessible to all. Our second concern pertains to Section 54.2031 of the Education Code, better known as the Hazelwood Act. This act creates opportunities for the children of military that may not have received higher education otherwise. Per Section 54.2031G, the state legislature provides funds based on availability, and the individual school covers the remaining amount. However, in practice, vast majority of program is funded by the school, and the legislature covers a paltry amount. This gap continues to grow and is costing each component institution more money. While the Student Advisory Board fully supports the spirit of the Hazelwood Act, we ask the Board of Regents to advocate for more funding from the state to cover the increasing cost of the Hazelwood Act's exemptions, so that the schools can provide more financial flexibility to work towards a 60-30 plan, the statewide goal to have 550,000 students completed a certificate, associate's, bachelor's, or master's from an institution of higher education in Texas by 2030. In conclusion, the Student Advisory Board recognizes our role in advocating on behalf of the student body of each component institution. To that end, building a meaningful relationship with the Board of Regents is a priority for the Student Advisory Board. Previously, there has been limited communication between our two representative bodies. This is something that we hope to change to foster an improved relationship that helps us better achieve our mutual goals. In that spirit, we have laid out several important priorities we need your assistance to address at each of our component institutions successfully. We respectfully ask that the Board of Regents to provide us an update on these priorities at the February board meeting. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration on these matters. Any questions?
Thank you, Torres.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey, for your thoughtful presentation, and thanks to all the SAB members for your attendance and contributions to our system on behalf of the students. Regents, any comments or questions? I would comment that I know everybody up here absolutely agrees with the comments you made on Hazelwood, Corey. The next order of business is Sam Houston State University campus update. This year, the update will be presented by Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dick Egglesave.
Good morning. Chairman Scott, members of the board, Chancellor McCall. I'm pleased to state that this year has been another successful year for students and faculty. A little bit about us. We have over 800 full-time faculty, providing 94 undergraduate programs, 62 master's degree programs, and 11 doctoral programs. About 45% are first in their family to attend college. Well over half will be the first to graduate. Over 75% of our students work while going to school. Our enrollment is up 1.6%, and our student credit hours are up 2.8%. Our first-time freshman retention rates remain consistent in the mid to high 70s. The demographics of our students are moving closer to the state. Whereas Black and white enrollments have remained relatively flat, Hispanic enrollments continue to rise. Our retention and graduation remains fairly consistent across all groups. Although we're making steady improvement in our retention rates, we remain troubled about these rates for men of color, which tend to be somewhat lower. To address this concern, we created the ELITE program. This program has recently been recognized by the Texas Education Consortium of Male Students of Color as a model program. We are glad to report that as the percentage of students has risen, the graduation rates of these students have improved at an even greater rate. However, we are far from declaring victory. We are currently considering expanding the program to include female students of color. As we work on policies and strategies to help our students, we remain vigilant that we are now serving a variety of students. We now serve traditional four-year students, transfer students, online students, and adult learners. These students have different needs. For example, you can see the difference in ages between students attending school on our main campus, the Woodlands campus, and online. Each group has unique needs that we are working to address. To keep up with these changing populations, we appreciate your assistance in helping improve our facilities. We're sitting in one of them right now, which we are most appreciative of. Our College of Medicine is moving forward with efficiency and diligence. Upon receiving approval for COCA, we opened our applications with the Texas Medical and Dental Schools application service on September 3rd. Because of the delay with COCA, we got a late start as the service actually opened in May for others. This application service closed on October 1st. Over 2,000 applications were received during this time period. Over 50% of these candidates have already submitted the required SHSU supplemental applications. Actually, today is the deadline for candidates to submit these supplemental applications. To date, we have screened over 700 and invited 537 candidates for interviews. We already have interviewed 212 candidates. As we speak, 54 more candidates are being interviewed today in the Woodlands. 97% of these applicants are Texas residents. 54% are female. Approximately 30% of these applicants are from our service area. Nearly 16% are first-generation undergraduate students. Decision offers will go out tomorrow, November 16th. On February 3rd, match results will be announced and the rolling admission process will begin. This process will be fluid, well into late spring and early summer as candidates make their final decisions. We are extremely confident that we will fill our 75 slots with an excellent slate of students. We are most fortunate to have a strong and talented faculty and students. Anna Eby, a doctoral student in clinical psychology, received a major grant from the National Institute of Mental Health. Christopher Hobbs, an assistant professor of chemistry, received a $400,000 career award from the National Science Foundation. Dr. David Payne, Provost Emeritus, was awarded recently the 2019 Spirit of Democracy Award from ASCU's American Democracy Project. Dr. Christine Vargo, Assistant Professor of Education, received a $300,000 grant to provide autism training to teachers and professionals. The College of Education received a $9 million seed grant from the Department of Education to create 4+1 programs to increase the skill levels of teachers entering the teacher field. In addition to the competence of our staff, we are also pleased to see progress in our efforts to secure additional grant funding. We continue to see steady growth in both research awards and expenditures. Some other points of pride I would like to mention. Our online programs continue to receive national recognition. We continue to stress the need for community engagement, hosting workshops to assist other universities wishing to join this project and receive Carnegie classifications as such. Our efforts are paying off. Over the last 3-year time period, we have decreased the average time to graduation from 4.9 years to 4.4 years, saving at least one semester tuition for many students. We are most proud of being recognized as being ranked number 2 in Texas in the Social Mobility Index. Besides being number 1, what should the institution aspire to? To stay on path to achieve student success, we are paying close attention to our pedagogy. Doctoral programs prepare our students to be experts in their content areas. However, they do not focus on techniques and strategies for effective teaching, as much alluded to by a student group just now. They primarily learn by observing their mentors who also have not been trained. We have invested in a training program provided by the Association of Colleges and University Educators. ACU is a training program that targets approaches that increase student engagement, learning, persistence to graduation, and career readiness. It's a year-long program on how to teach, how to pose questions, and how to provide feedback. We are on our 3rd cohort in ACU teaching, and we'll be adding an additional cohort focusing specifically on online teaching. The response to this program by faculty has been most positive. Questioning how we teach influenced our decision to make active learning the focus of our quality enhancement plan for our SACS accreditation process. The following film to help to clarify these points.
Over the past year, Sam Houston State University has seen great success in their SACS COC accreditation efforts and has made impressive strides forward in enrichment of academics. Following on the heels of a successful SACS COC reaffirmation process from which SHSU is slated to receive no recommendations, the university was also honored with an acknowledgement of the institution's commitment to providing quality higher education in Texas by receiving a designation for excellence in assessment of educational programs. This is a new award presented at the national level to institutions making outstanding assessment efforts.
Assessment of educational programs is a significant component of the accreditation process, and documenting our compliance with the accreditation standards, as well as ensuring that our students are receiving a quality education, is made easier by outstanding institutional practices. One such example is Sam Houston's assessment efforts, which recently was awarded the Excellence in Assessment designation. It's the first of its kind. It's a national recognition of institutions who are demonstrating excellence in assessment efforts. Those institutions that are engaging in assessment efforts where assessment results are being used for decision-making and the improvement of student learning and performance. SHSU is one of only 27 institutions and the first in Texas to be awarded the designation since its inception in 2016. Ultimately, the award signifies the quality of Sam Houston's assessment efforts to improve student learning and performance.
Assessment is one example of the university's commitment to providing quality education for its students by adhering to outstanding institutional practices that cement SHSU's reputation for producing qualified and knowledgeable graduates. This year has seen the growth of another initiative at SHSU as well, one aimed squarely at increasing the quality of the educational experience for every student: the university's embrace of active learning. The university has laid out a Quality Enhancement Plan, or QEP, that assists students in success within the classroom and in the workforce. That plan involves the adoption of active learning strategies and practices by SHSU instructors across all disciplines offered on the university campus, compared to a passive instruction model in which students simply listen to an instructor providing course content through traditional lectures.
So active learning is the philosophy that students learn best when they are actively engaged in the classroom with their classmates and with the instructor, as opposed to passively listening to a lecture from an instructor. Study after study shows that students learn more and they learn better the more active learning is present. Really, I want our students to notice a difference in classrooms. I want our students to be able to choose between two sections of the same class, one of which is using active learning and one of which isn't. And I know our students are going to choose the more active option, and then that will in turn convince more faculty to use those techniques because that's what the students want. So it really has an added benefit of it's better for students because they learn more and they learn better, but it's also more enjoyable for our students, so it makes them want to return the next semester and the next year, and that in turn convinces our faculty. I'm really grateful for the support that we've been given from the president and the provost, and I'm pleasantly surprised at the involvement we've gotten from our faculty. We've got about 1,100 faculty on campus, and a lot of us have been doing the same thing for 10, 20, 30 years. And it's really encouraging that so many faculty members see that changing what they do in class every day really has a profound impact on our students and how much they learn and how much they're engaged. And it's really a testament to the dedication our faculty have for our students.
Sam Houston State University's enthusiastic embrace of active learning and commitment to quality assessment efforts are just two prominent facets of SHSU's overall dedication to Texas learners. We are proud to be providing the best in higher education for our fellow citizens and look forward to continuing that commitment wherever it takes us.
Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Excellent job. Excellent job. Thank you. The next order of business is the postponed business from yesterday. We have 4 postponed action items from the miscellaneous section. These are the presentations of the 2019 Regents Professor Awards. Will the Foundation Executive Director, Mike Winnemute, please come forward? And Mike, would you explain the resolutions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Regents. Each November, I have the great privilege of introducing the recipients of the Regents Professor Award, which is the highest faculty honor in our system. Since 2007, only 29 of the thousands of faculty members we have across the system have been recognized as Regents Professors, and today 4 will join that list. Regents Professors are nominated by the presidents based on their exemplary record of teaching, service, and research, and their contributions to the educational community at large. The Board of Directors of the Texas State University System Foundation has selected the 4 outstanding professors here today to receive the Regents Professor Award for 2019. In alphabetical order by institution and name, I'll begin by asking Dr. Shishun Fan, Professor of Mechanical Engineering at Lamar University, to join me at the podium. And Mr. Chairman, there's a resolution before the board.
Thank you. Regents, is there a motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. Shishun Fan?
I so move.
A motion made by Regent Montaigne.
Yes,
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Regent Crane. Any questions or comments? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I'll read a summary of the resolution. Dr. Shishun Fan has been a professor of mechanical engineering at Lamar University since 2007, having previously served as a faculty member at Taiwan University of Technology in China, as a research fellow at the University of Tokyo in Japan, and a visiting professor at the University of British Columbia. Dr. Fan holds research and engineering positions in the private sector. He holds 5 patents, has published 4 books and 27 book chapters. He's written more than 100 peer-reviewed publications, authored more than 160 conference papers, delivered more than 60 keynotes and seminars around the world, and was principal investigator for more than 30 projects, totaling $2.2 million in grants. Dr. Fan has received numerous awards and honors, including the University Professor Award, the University Scholar Award, the Faculty Mentor Award, and the Distinguished Faculty Research Fellowship Award, as well as the Mary Ann and Lawrence E. Faust Endowed Professor Award. Importantly, he is also praised by his peers for being a tireless advocate for first-generation and underrepresented students. And now Regent Amato will present Dr. Fan with the Regents Professor Medallion and a framed copy of the resolution approved by the board.
Dr. Evans, would you join?
Thank you, Chairman, Board of Regents, and the Foundation. I'm honored and humbled to receive this award. Many of my students in my class are first-generation college students. They would succeed more if they have had a better university in education from kindergarten to high school. That's what I wanted to do at Lamar for those students. To me, teaching is a performing art. Each lecture is different and the audience is different. Nothing is more than inspiring than seeing the difference I make as I see the student gain the knowledge and succeed. I want to thank all of my students, undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students. They gave me the strength and opportunity for teaching and research. I'm thankful for the opportunity and the support that Lamar has been given to me. I want to thank President Evans, Provost Marquardt, Provost Nicholas, Dr. Harper, Dr. Zalom, and Dr. Chu, and many colleagues for their support. I also want to thank many of my collaborators around the world for many exciting research opportunities. I want to thank my family, my wife Jenny, she's here, my son Bill, and my parents for their unconditional support and love. Thank you.
Our next item is a motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. James Westgate from Lamar University.
And I'd invite Dr. Westgate to join me.
Regents, is there a motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. James Westgate?
I make a motion.
Motion by Veronica. Second? Second from Don Flores, Regent Flores. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I'll summarize the resolution. Dr. James Westgate has served as a professor of Earth and Space Sciences at Lamar University since 1989. After earning his PhD in geological sciences from the University of Texas, he served as a lecturer for the University of Maryland in Heidelberg, Germany. Dr. Westgate has published a book, written 4 book chapters, authored 19 peer-reviewed articles, and more than 100 peer-reviewed abstracts, produced 11 science education videos, and generated more than $1.7 million in grants to support his work. Dr. Westgate has served the university and scientific communities as the primary organizer of the Texas Energy Museum's Dinosaur Day program and as associate director and science advisor for the Jason Alliance of Southeast Texas, which exposes children to the wonders of science. He has received numerous honors, including University Professor Award, University Scholar, University Distinguished Faculty Lecturer, and the Teaching Excellence Award. And now again, Regent Amato will present Dr. Westgate with the Regents Professor Medallion and the Board Resolution.
So I'd like to thank the board for this recognition. Over 30 years, I've owed a lot of favors to a lot of people to do what I do. And for example, in January, we're having our annual STEM outreach program for the Jason Project. We'll host almost 9,000 4th through 8th graders over 13 days. And I'm going to owe a lot of more people a lot of favors. So we actually have dozens of volunteers to make that happen. So thanks for your recognition of what they have done with me.
Our next item is a motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. Scott Chapman from Sam Houston State University.
And I'll ask Dr. Chapman now to join me at the podium. and I'll summarize the resolution. Dr. Scott Chapman has served as professor of mathematics at Sam Houston State University since 2008. He's currently distinguished professor and scholar in residence in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics and is a fellow of the American Mathematics Society. Dr. Chapman previously served as a faculty member at Trinity University, was editor of the American Mathematics Society from 2012 to 2016, and traveled to Austria in 1995 as a Fulbright research scholar. He has authored or co-authored 107 peer-reviewed publications, presented 26 research papers, given 31 invited presentations, and refereed 34 journals. Dr. Chapman has received numerous awards, including the Outstanding Alumnus of the College of Arts and Sciences at UNT, the Trinity University Award for Distinguished Scholarship or Research, and the Sam Houston State University Excellence in Research Award. He has taught more than 20 subjects in math from the remedial to the graduate level, has mentored more than 70 students in a 12-year National Science Foundation program, and has served on numerous committees. And now I'll ask Regent Tinsley to present Dr. Chapman with the Regents Professor Medallion and the resolution.
Mike, we need
Yes,
to
sir.
pass the,
Oh, sorry about that.
no problem.
Now you
Regents,
know what
is there
you're
a
passing.
motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. Scott Chapman? Motion made by Regent Hale, Harley, and second by Regent Gary Crane. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Great.
So I'm one of the lucky people in the world that gets to walk to work. I have a home very close to campus here, and when I do that every day, I walk past a really large message board right on Sam Houston Avenue and 19th Street. And for a while up on this board, this message would flash, and the message said, "Heroes will rise." I used to think a lot about that. And I came to two conclusions. The first was I agree with that. I think heroes really do rise. And the second was I'm certainly no hero, but I have a really amazing group of heroes around me. And it's because of this group of heroes that I'm able to be at this podium today to accept this really high honor. So I have some heroes to thank. First of all, the heroes in my family. My wife, Lenora, who's here, and my two sons, Cameron and Jonathan. Thank you for putting up with the countless hours of writing and editing and traveling to give lectures that was necessary to achieve this kind of status. I want to thank the heroes in my department. It's a joy in the morning to get up and go work with such a collegial and dedicated group of professionals. I thank them for allowing me the first 10 years I was here to keep a really crazy schedule of classes. And also in tandem with the Office of Academic Affairs and the College of Science and Engineering Technology, making it possible for me to spend 5 years editing the American Math Monthly, which was really a life-altering experience for me. I have too many people in mathematics to thank, so let me just focus on one group that was previously mentioned, the 70 or so research students that have worked with me through the years, most of them on National Science Foundation support. Usually when we talk about programs like that, the emphasis is on what a great program this is for the student, but I think I got as much out of working with those students as anything they got out of me. So I really thank all the support I had from NSF during the years. Lastly, I really want to dedicate this to my two biggest heroes, my parents, my late parents, Morris and Margaret Chapman. I couldn't have had better role models in life than my parents, but it actually goes beyond that because my father was a high school mathematics teacher, and I'm sure I would be doing something else today if it wasn't for his patience and guidance. And he taught at the high school that I went to. So I was recently at my 40th high school reunion, and I was amazed at how many people that I didn't even know while in high school came over to see me to tell me what an influence my father had been on them in the classroom. And it doesn't really matter how many papers I write or how many books I write or how many grants I get. Every time a student walks in my office, I think about that. So I thank the Regents, and I'm really looking forward to a lot of exciting more years here in the math department. Thank you.
Our next item is to confer the Regents Professor Award upon Dr. William Britton from Texas State University. Mike.
Would you like to
I can do.
approve the motion while...
Regents, is there a motion to confer the Regents Professor Award upon William Britton? Okay, motion made by Veronica. I'm having a hard time with Marquez today. Edwards. Second? Second by Regent Tinsley. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And will Dr. Britton please join me at the podium? Dr. William Britton is a professor of chemistry and biochemistry who came to Texas State University in 2010 after serving as a faculty member at the University of Akron, program officer at the National Science Foundation, and vice president for research at Bausch & Lomb. Dr. Britton has served as chair of the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry for 9 years, has taught courses ranging from the undergraduate to doctoral level, both in the U.S. and Germany. He's published more than 120 peer-reviewed articles and is one of the most frequently cited authors at Texas State. Dr. Britton co-authored a book, presented 71 conference proceedings, has given more than 200 invited lectures, and is responsible for more than $5.5 million in grants. He's received numerous awards, including the GenCorp Signature Research Award, the American Chemical Society Distinguished Service Award, and named a Fellow of the ACS Division of Polymer Chemistry. And now Regent Montaigne will present Dr. Britton with the Regents Professor Medallion and the resolution.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for the applause, and I'd like to first start by thanking my wife, Tina Louise Yanyalanas, who's here today, my main supporter and the only member of my fan club. I think she's a president, actually. But she put up with all the long nights, the weekends that leads to an award like this. There were hundreds of students involved who I thank, and every student was a unique success story, and I'm always proud of that. That's my legacy. But this award feels very nice, so thank you for that. And it's really nice it comes from the Texas State University system because to me it feels like a system that more than any other system in the state promotes equal opportunity, fairness, and equality. And so that means a lot to me. I'm a first-generation student from a small town in Wyoming, and so I never thought this day would happen. Texas State University is the largest school in the system, but it's still a family university. You go on campus, when I bring visitors, they're always surprised by the enrollment because it just feels comfortable there. And this kind of environment that leads to a supportive learning environment where I could perform scholarship and also be an effective administrator is due to the top. It's really due to the leadership of President Denise Trouth and Provost Jean Bourgeois, and I thank them for this great opportunity. They're responsible for supporting me and leading to this day for me. In fact, actually, Jean showed some leadership last night. I was standing in the cocktail line, and I've been struggling with something at work, and in 15 words, he actually gave me the perspective I needed to double my loyalty and work harder for the university. So they've been really great leaders for me. Let's see, one other thing I wanted to say, and I'm trying to remember. I think I got through it. And I looked at your backgrounds, and you all got such great backgrounds. It feels so parochial in a way, but this honor just means a lot to me coming from you guys. So, guys and gals, I should say. So thank you, and thank you to everybody here.
And Mr. Chairman, would we like to do a group photo with all of the Regents professors and the board at this time?
Very good.
They'll tell us what to do.
Yeah, I'll just do there.
Feel cozy? There you go, right in there. There you go. All right. All right, Ron, sit back. All right, here we go, man. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. That. Thing. 1, 2, and. That's a great picture.
Yeah, sure. Get Scott. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's get a chapter. We wanted to get one with President Hoyt. Yeah.
Congratulations. No, I
President
appreciate that.
Hoyt. Yeah, get y'all together.
Our next order of business is the Tsu S Foundation update, and Mike will take us through that.
Yes, sir. Good morning. The Board of Directors of the Tsu S Foundation, including Regents Amato, Scott, and Tinsley, met telephonically this Monday, November 11th, and this report capsulizes the business of that meeting. At the end of the first quarter, Foundation assets totaled $6.9 million. 84%, or $5.7 million of that, is in the Foundation's undesignated account. That's the account from which all expenses are paid, with the exception of the Foundation's 2 scholarship programs. Assets in the undesignated account are invested accordingly, about 52% in U.S. and international equities, consistent with our investment policy approved by the board. 48% of the account is in cash and fixed income, and that's because of the large commitments that we've pledged to the four-year institutions. And yet this account has done very well since January 1st. As of September 30th, the foundation's total portfolio gained 8.8%, and the equity invested portion gained more than 17% since the first of the year. The Grow Your Own Scholarship Program has 4 active recipients with a remaining obligation of $97,000. This year, the Board of Directors awarded no scholarships so that Dr. Hayek and I, working with the chief academic officers, could look at ways to make this scholarship perhaps more attractive and to encourage participation, or to find other strategies that may help us improve the recruitment and retention of faculty, minority faculty in particular. And we intend to have some good options to present to the board in January, or rather in February. And finally, some very good news that is going to impact the foundation in positive ways this year and going forward. As a result of legislation passed recently, the system was able to sell a tax credit for improvements on the System Administration Building, O. Henry Hall, in downtown Austin. And Chancellor McCall has used $1 million from that transaction to pay off all remaining debt associated with both the acquisition of O. Henry Hall and improvements to Jackson Field at Sol Ross. And so we are debt-free as of this week. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you to the Chancellor for putting his money where the foundation's efforts are. Any questions?
Very good. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Great. And I'll add my thanks to the Chancellor for working both on the legislation and for making the decision to pay off the remaining debt that the foundation had. Our next item is the board will go into executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.071 through 074 of the Government Code. No votes will be taken in executive session. For the record, the time is 11:04. We'll now reconvene in open session. For the record, the time is 11:52. In compliance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, no votes were taken or decisions reached in executive session. We'll now consider a walk-on item. The board will now consider a walk-on item from the personnel section of the agenda book pertaining to Texas State University Professor Dr. Wiley, who appeals the president's decisions to revoke his tenure and terminate his employment following the recommendations of 2 separate faculty hearing panels. One convened under the board's sexual misconduct policy, the second under tenure revocation due process proceedings provided in our rules and regulations. The board considers such appeals solely on the written record but Dr. Wiley asked to speak to the board in executive session. Although our rules do not provide for such a right, as chairman, I granted the request recognizing the importance of the interests involved. Because the matter before us is complex and the record voluminous, more than 14,000 pages of written testimony, and because Dr. Wiley's tenure revocation appeal was filed on the date of our draft agenda book was provided to the board on October the 17th, 2019, timely review by the board was not possible. Principles of fair play require that we approach this matter thoughtfully and with great care. Therefore, I recommend that the board refer this matter to the Rules and Regulations Committee with instructions to review the record on appeal per rules and regulations, Chapter 5, paragraph 4.46. Address any defects in procedure or of substance which require reversal of the president's decision, and submit any recommendations and the reasons therefore for board consideration at our February 2020 quarterly meeting. Accordingly, Regents, a hard copy of the motion has been distributed, and also placed on the screen before you. I believe this addresses the current concerns I've mentioned. Regent Montaigne, do I hear a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Having determined that the last appeal of the above referenced matter was filed on October 17, 2019, that the record on appeal is 14,000 pages and in the interest of stake are significant, it was ordered that Texas State University Professor David Wiley's appeal of the President's May 2nd and October 2nd, 2019 decisions, affirming the two faculty tribunal findings and recommendations against him under Texas State University system, sexual misconduct policy, section 1444, and rules and regulations, chapter 5, section 456, be referred to the board's Rules and Regulation Committee for review and consideration, and that the committee review the record on appeal with legal guidance from the Vice Chancellor and General Counsel, and as required by the Rules and Regulations, Chapter 5, paragraph 4.56, address any defects in procedure or substance which require the reversal of the President's decision, and submit any recommendations and reasons therefor to the board for consideration at its February 13th, 14th, 2020 quarterly meeting.
Do I hear a second? Second, Regent Amato. Regents, do you have any comments or questions? Dr. Gomez is available to answer any questions that you may have. If there are no questions or comments, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. The next order of business is the approval of the consent agenda. These items are found at the end of each section in the board book. Are there any objections, or would any member like to remove an item from the consent agenda? If there are no objections, I move to adopt all items on the consent agenda. Is there a second? Second by Regent Don Flores. Discussion? There is no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Having approved the minutes and the consent agenda, the next item under general motions is an informational item outlining the dates and locations for future board meetings. Please refer to the upcoming dates Laura has projected for your review. Are there any questions concerning the schedule? There being no questions, we'll move to our next item. We now have to hold the elections for chair and vice chair of the board. Do I hear a nomination for chair?
Mr. Chairman, I move that you continue to be the chairman for the next year.
Second.
Thank you. I think.
Our condolences.
All right. If anyone else like to make? All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes.
I think his company is.
We'll now hold the election for the vice chair. Do we have a nomination for the office of vice chair? If y'all aren't going.
David Montaigne.
All right. Regent Amato.
Thank you, Charlie.
And a second by Regent Harrell. Good. Any discussion? There not being any discussion, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Our next item is public comment. At this time, the board will hear any public comments. Is there anyone present who would like to make a public comment? Public comments be limited to 5 minutes. If there is no public comment, our next item is announcements and further business. Our next quarterly meeting will be February the 13th and 14th at Texas State University in San Marcos. For Regents and TSUS staff attending the Art Complex ribbon cutting here today. Transportation will depart shortly. Please gather your things and you'll be directed to the shuttles. Box lunches will be available afterwards. If there is no objection, we'll now adjourn the meeting. No objection. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. And for the record, the time is 12:01. We managed to do it. Very good.